So this failure thing, after going through an awareness program, I found out it really began from an identity. It was so strong in I thought of myself as a failure. And it began from the fact that when I was in high school, I repeated a class, senior three. Um, and then I struggled with my studies, especially in secondary school. I really struggled with my studies. I didn't do well. I was always sleeping in class. That was another health issue, problem issue, spiritual issue, whatever it was. Uh, so I repeated senior three, and then when I reached my senior six, I also, according to society, but also really I failed. It wasn't according to society. It was actually it had nothing to do with society. I got 5 points in senior six. You don't get 5 points.
Oh
Yeah,
my
you
God.
can't get. Yeah. So
You
that's
can get 5 points in one subject.
I know, right? At least I got in English. Hello. At least my English wasn't too bad. So I got 5 points, and so I really didn't do well. I felt that. And so I didn't know that subconsciously it was a thing that I had taken on, that Solomon forever will be failing. Solomon forever, and not even failing like at studies, failing at anything. She cannot keep time. She has failed. Like failing at anything. It's like I took on that identity. I am a failure. And so it started coming up in just different ways. When I was, first of all, in not even the music scene when I started officially in 2015, but way before that, when like I would not fail at something, but not meet a standard, like maybe my workplace. I used to work at Bank of Uganda. Immediately my mind would say, you're a failure. You have failed. You're a failure. So there's a time when I was working at my corporate job at that time, my 9 to 5. I was working in a certain section and I was doing so well. I was user support. Of course, I was doing so well to the fact, because I was engaging with people. I love people. So talk. Um, and so as a certain point, also doing, user support IT. And so I was doing so well in that section. So one of the managers said, she's doing so well, so let's promote her to another section that deals with networking, because I did that as a diploma. So they put me in that section. And it really wasn't my section, because I was just dealing with machines and servers, and like my whole system was like, we are bored. Where are the people? Why aren't we seeing people? So I started to not do well. And immediately my mindset went back to senior three. You are failing. And when that mindset was there, and I didn't know that mindset was there. Now I'm saying it because I know it was there. I said failing at everything. It's like I dropped the ball at everything from that point. So I struggled in that section to a point where one of my supervisors used to sit with me. She ended up being like a counselor. They even took me to counseling in that job. What is happening? What is wrong? Is there something happening at home? Why aren't you meeting? Because you came from a section, you were high. Now you're absolutely below par. Then they took me to a whole other department. So that whole thing took me back to, I'm a failure. Because when I was in high school and secondary school, I was always in remedial classes. You know what I mean? Extra classes, coaching. So immediately the brain said, oh my God, we're back at this again. Again, I'm failing. So I just took it on, I'm a failure. Yeah, they took me to another department. I really was like just working, just, like how you just come to a job and get money at the end of the day of month. That's fine. So I wasn't inspired. So it started showing up in all those spaces. And then when I started my music career officially in 2015, wow. Um, I didn't know it would show up here, because, oh my God, I love music. Oh my God, I was born to do this. And so in terms of the creativity, yes, I'm creating great content. But then it started to show up in terms of like, oh, I'm not coming on time for things because I think, I'll fail at this. I'm forever going to be a failure. Oh my gosh, that's going to be me. And then I wouldn't take on anything challenging. The minute my manager, who is also looking at me, the minute my manager at that time would like push me or try to get me to do things that are a bit more challenging outside my comfort zone, immediately like it's like as if an alarm system would me say, no, we if we go in something challenging, we are going to fail, and we cannot feel failure again, because for me, I would feel failure as an emotion. It would be like failure, and so to not feel that anymore, let us not go into anything challenging. Let's go for the easy things. And so it's like to show up like that. And so that kind of even limited my progress, in the things that I was doing. And so interestingly, that my mindset also expected failure. It's so interesting.
Wow.
I don't like, wow, it's amazing. Like I had an expectation, somewhere I will fail. I will not be on time. Somewhere I will not meet the standard, or I will not get this project through, or I will fail. I will no. So that was me. And for me, it was not just a mindset. It was like, it was who I am. I decided that was who I was. I hope yeah. Yeah. And so that was one thing. I remember how I told you that because of repeating a class and whatever. So that's how also failure started coming up in the music thing. Like when my manager, so what would happen is I'll do a song, and then like a team of us would listen to the song and critique it and what. So each time someone would say, or if my manager would say, so Sonia, you have to do this again, I would feel so bad, because it would mean I have repeated a class. I have failed. And so I'd drag my feet to execute it again. Or I would sulk. Okay, my sulking is inward. My inward resistance is quite strong. Yeah, I will not do this. I will not do this. Or if I would do it, I'll do it slowly. So it was just stemming from that thing, like, oh my God, we don't want to repeat something. We don't want to repeat something. And so I was always avoiding challenge, avoiding getting out of my comfort zone, avoiding new things, in case I fail, so that thing was always that, in case I fail, in case I fail. And so, yeah. And then interestingly, the other thing is I avoided the limelight, but that came a few years after I was in the industry. I started saying it like, I started to avoid things that would like put me in the light, because I was thinking, what if people see my failure?
Oh my God.
What if they see it? Because in the entertainment industry, my mindset at that time was like, you can't show failure. You have to always show success. You always have to show that you're doing well. And so I was thinking, okay, so let me just do the bare minimum. I used to tell my vocal coach that for a while I always felt like as if I was not necessarily in the entertainment industry. I was like on the edge, just playing it safe. Like, let's just do the, mediocre, not even mediocre, but just the bare minimum. Like I could do better. Like I was a student who could do 1,000% in the entertainment industry, but I was choosing to do like 60%. That's, because I don't want to be in the limelight, because hence one of the things was I don't want them to see me failing. I don't want them to, almost it's like an imposter syndrome, like, oh my gosh, because they'll know that I repeated their class. They won't know I repeated their class. The mindset was like, they'll look at me, they'll look at me at that, like that student in S3 who repeated. And that's what I was trying to avoid. So I didn't put myself right smack in the middle of the light or of the big stuff in the entertainment industry. Yeah. So that is what was happening.
Wow. Every time you share this story, I learn something. Today I have learned, I have learned so much. I think it's interesting, before I go into my own fear of success, it's interesting how the thing that was showing up in what we thought was not our purpose You know that when showing up in our job, when you decided to do the thing that you wanted to do, the thing that you loved, the thing that was your life's purpose, what you were born to do, it still showed up.
Yeah.
With no respect, as in no respect at all, that this is now my purpose and the failure is
So
just. Yeah.
yeah. That's so true. It doesn't divide that. Oh my God, corporate job. Okay, for it, it's like wherever. Yeah.
Yeah. I think,
Yeah.
as you said, identity. Anyway, so now my fear of success.
Yeah.
I got to understand this a little bit better last year as I was doing a lot of inner work. And I began to understand where many of my limiting beliefs had come from. Now, I had not really had an issue with success for most of my life. Most people think that beliefs usually come from when you're kids, when you're young. Most of mine came after I started the business world, when I got into the business world. That's the shocking thing. So my fear of success was on two fronts, was on money and was on visibility. Now, the way that it showed up in money is, in my mind, I thought, if I make a lot of money, I am going to be stressed by tax people. If I succeed. And I think this came from the first business that I did, how the way that URA really stressed us when we were just learning the business, sending us assessments and all that. I realized this is hard. So I began to think, if I actually put myself all out there, dream big and make a lot of money, the tax people are really going to stress me. That's number
Yeah.
one. The second one was because of the country that we live in. I had seen how successful business people are usually not attacked, but it's like when you're visibly successful, it's like then the political leaders, I don't know,
Yeah.
it's like they kind of begin to attach themselves onto you, demand things of you, and then you watch on TV how at times you have to get into funny deals. And I was like, do I really want to be involved in that? I don't want to be involved in that. So the way that it showed up for me is when I was having money dreams, I was dreaming small.
Wow.
I was limiting myself. Now, as I said, it started in business. When I had a job, I did not have to face the tax man because pay is automatically deducted. You don't even know. You know your net. You don't even know your gross.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I got into a place where it's like, now you see the money that comes, and then you know that this has to get off. I was like, this is something I don't want to really get involved in. So the way that it mainly showed up for me was having small dreams regarding money. My dreams were small. Now the second one was visibility. Because for me, success meant being seen by many people. Now, I worked with an artist who, as she said, is looking at me, who loves people and loves being seen. And just, when she sees people, she's, happy, what, and all that stuff. And for me, visibility is a hindrance to my core value, which is peace. I love being in a place where I can sit incognito and observe people. That's one of my best moments, when it's like I'm almost invisible and I can sit and observe you. But the thing is,
Yeah.
if you're visible, then you're known. Then you cannot observe. When you enter a place, everyone is like, as in everyone knows you. Now, the thing for me is I equated success to being seen by many people, being known by many people, being acknowledged, being recognized. And I felt like if I ever attained success, that would happen. And I would be so overwhelmed, I would choke and I would die. You're laughing, but that's what my brain thought. That's what my brain thought. Success is going to kill us. We are going to die. As in, it was just too much for me. So the way that it showed up is, in the end, I started preferring to work in the background. to
Okay.
not be known. I was very intentional about that, to not be known. It was like almost like I was hiding. I want to do the work. I want to support this person. I remember I told the artist who I was working with, if you ever become famous, we are going to meet in the parking lot. And then, as in, when you're going to, I will act like I do not know you, because I do not want to be associated to, as in, fanfare and all that stuff. Yeah, I actually told her that. But it's like it actually affected me by me just working in the background, almost hiding, because I had equated success to that. So that's how my fear of success showed up, in dreaming small, especially money dreams, and in hiding what I knew, hiding how good I was, hiding as I worked with this person. I think it even must have affected her, because then I wouldn't be very aggressive in things.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to
Yeah.
manage an artist, you have to be out there, seeing, show, all that kind of stuff. But I bet it actually affected her, because I wanted to work incognito. So that's how it showed up in my life.